the way the world works, whistleblowers are seen as the enemy of the establishment. So you can never really be safe. I'm not in Kenya, but I don't think I am really safe even outside of Kenya. Whistleblowers are not people who are loved by the establishment, and sometimes it's even tricky if you go and report to the police, because these same police, because the establishment are the people who run these institutions, they might be the ones to ruin your life. To In Swahili we say hao ndio watakupeana. So you have to be very smart about it once you become a whistleblower. Mine was only to, rally people to reject this Adani deal. So, some of the petitions I'm involved, others I am not, and I'm happy if more people do them. Actually, one of the calls was for more people to go to court, people to, do just people to do their civic duty, people to go and protest, the cow to, strike. We need to have as many pressure points as possible. It doesn't have to be me, but people have to be awakened. One person cannot do it. So I don't necessarily need to be in those petitions, but as long as it serves the purpose, this is all that matters. And it's important for attention to be not only, in one person, so that they know even if they silence one person, it will still continue. So about these Indians, I have been breaking a story about Nairobi West Hospital and Jayesh Saini. Actually, Jayesh Saini and first of all, Jayesh Saini has got our healthcare system under his healthcare institutions. So all the police, all the teachers, their insurance, and this is a malpractice. I was being told by some health practitioners, because you cannot be the insurance provider and also be the one to provide the healthcare. But this is exactly what Jayesh Saini and his family is doing. So his dad owns Nairobi West Hospital. His dad is called Dr. Umesh. And so Nairobi West Hospital is the one where teachers and police officers go and get treated. But Jayesh has his own show. So he has Bliss Healthcare, Life Care hospitals, which are they are under a lot of controversy, especially in Eldoret. So around the country, they have different healthcare facilities with different names, and some teachers and police officers go to these facilities. If you do not go to that facility, you cannot be admitted for more than 3 days in these facilities of Jayesh and his family. It's even more sad that I learned that. So, for them to reduce the cost of hiring radiologists, they send the CT scans to India, and then they get interpreted, then they are sent back to Kenya. So this is obviously data breach. In our data protection laws, you cannot send patient data outside of Kenya. So basically, they are breaking the law by doing this. They are also outsourcing the people who, how do you say it? The people who normally would accept the insurance claims or reject them, approve or reject. So they outsource this to Indian companies in India. So basically, you're in Kenya, you're a patient, you're in a hospital, you're waiting for approval, and the approval will have to, or the rejection will have to come from India. So there are so many things they're doing. They have employed so many Indians from India. So all these Indians that they employ from India, first of all, their salaries go back to India. So there is a lot of capital, freight, capital is going back to India rather than staying in the country. If they receive like 2 to 4 billion shillings from the government, probably like 10% of that money goes back to India. So there's a lot of capital freight from Kenya through these dubious deals that the government officials are making. And my point that I wanted to make is, so Jayesh is one of those Indians that they are raping our country, they are raping our economy, and someone else is Adil Kawaja. So Adil Kawaja is the chairman of Safaricom. Adil Kawaja has been Ruto's financial advisor for a long time. They're close. I've been told that they are part of the Adani deal, part of this JKIA takeover, together with Jayesh Saini. Jayesh Saini and Adil Kawaja took Ruto to Modi, and you all know the history of Modi and Adani, and also there is the chairman of KNH. So the chairman of KNH is called Dr. Samir Muravesh. The chairman of KNH is a very good friend of Aaron Cheriot. He also runs a few healthcare clinics. One is called Libya in Nyali. He's actually building a brand new healthcare facility in Nyali. So basically he's trying to speculate on obviously the business that is about to come, for them in shift business. And since he is in this health industry, they are obviously going to benefit from it. I was also being informed that they have pharmaceutical companies that do business with KEMSA. You can see the level of state capture. And when you see people like Kimani Chungwa talking about state capture, this is all bullshit. There is nothing that they're saying about state capture. It's the same thing that Ruto used to say. He will not send security agencies after government critiques. The same thing they're trying to do to me. So these people are not honest. They are not people of integrity, and treat everything they say as total lies until their actions prove it wrong. Otherwise, their words they're not genuine. They're just politicking and being politically correct. But what they're doing behind the scenes is exactly the opposite of what they say. It's a sad time, for us as a country, because we are seeing leaders who we elected to represent us, representing their own stomachs, and trying to sell us at Beyajioni. And it's also very unfortunate that we are seeing how our forefathers, the chiefs, how they auctioned our land and our people to go and become slaves. And we are seeing it firsthand how it happened. And this is exactly how it happened. And that's why we need to stop it. We need to shout at the top of our voices. We need to put our lives on the line. If you look at the history of Australia, the history of America, USA, North America, if you look at their history, the white settlers, when they went to those countries, when the convicts went to Australia, they had lords over them, the people who were governing them. And because all of them were white people, in America, they revolted against the governors who were governing them and making them slaves. And that's why in America they had to go to Africa, they had to go to South America to get slaves, because their own people refused to be slaves. And they actually said that they'd rather die than become slaves of those governors who were sent by the British Empire from the UK, from the United Kingdom. And also in Australia, the same thing happened. The convicts, and them, they were even convicts. They had done, they had stolen, I don't know what, in the UK, and then they were being sent to Australia to go and work in the farms in Australia. And the king had sent governors to go and govern them in Australia. So there was hierarchy. There was the governor, and then there was the people who were, convicts who were working, and they were like, for example, peasants, quote unquote. So in Africa, this system is the same thing that happened when the colonialists came. It was the colonialists, then the chiefs, then the peasants. When the colonialists left, it was now the chiefs and the peasants. And up to today, it's the same, the chiefs and the peasants. And now we have the political class and the peasants. So political class, the elite, the people with the money, and then the peasants. We need to abolish this hierarchy. And the reason why we have never been able to abolish it is our fear. And you remember there was this saying that was it was being said a lot when we were protesting. If we lose our fear, when we lose our fear, they lose their power. In Australia, the convicts, They said they'd rather die than be slaves and peasants forever. In America, the white settlers refused to be slaves of the governors. And because of this, they had to sit down, agree, and go to Africa and get slaves who would become their peasants and, their slaves. And today, we are at this crossroads where we need to say no to become slaves and to being slaves. We have been slaves for so long. There is so many people in Kenya who cannot afford a meal. And then when you go out, you see someone has a brand new G-Wagon. I mean, it's insane. If you go to Nairobi, you will see some crazy cars that you don't even see in the West, like very expensive cars. And there are people who are sleeping hungry just next door there in Kibera. So this hierarchy needs to be abolished. And the only way to abolish it is by us standing up for ourselves, losing our fear, coming up with exposés, exposing corruption. People are scared because obviously you will receive threats. It will not be easy, but you have to be ready to put your life on the line for us to reach where the Western world has reached, because it will not be easy. But there is a lot of hope by, going by all these things that have happened in the recent 3 months. So yeah, I'm very optimistic that we will change this in our generation.